very happy to be here. I'm also very happy because I am celebrating. I realized for the first time this week that I've become independently middle class. All through comedy, independently middle class. I'm not like upper middle class, I'm middle class. You know, if you don't know the difference between the two, it's like sometimes I can't afford almonds. Oh, this is nice. I can tell you're a middle class crowd. Because you heard that joke and you had a very middle class reaction. You chuckled politely. You went, ha ha ha. Almonds can be quite expensive. But I don't always get to play nice gigs in such nice theatres. I'm used to playing rough bars in my part of the world. Last time I told that joke on stage, I was at this horrible bar. And one guy just leaned his stool back and yelled at me from the back of the room. And he went, "Oi, what are you buying nuts for, dickhead?" So I mean it when I say it's very nice to be here, Montreal. I did experience some racism recently in my home country, right? I went to a Chinese restaurant. I went with two of my best friends. We went in, we sat down. The waitress came straight over, boom, 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 3 dishes in front of us. I looked at her and I said, "Oh, no, sorry, I haven't even looked at the menu yet." She looked down at my face and she goes, no, I know what you want." Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, no, I've never been here before." She looks down, she repeats, she goes, no, white boy, I know what you want." Yeah, I was outraged. Outraged, ladies and gentlemen. And then I looked down at the dishes and it was satay chicken, Mongolian beef, and sweet and sour pork. And I was like, "You have nailed it." I had one question. I was like, "Excuse me." And she's like, "3 forks?" And I was like, "Yes, please." It's like, this woman is incredible. I asked my dad what he wanted to do when he was a kid, and he said this was the dream. He wanted to work hard, save up, buy a house, start a family. That was the dream. Work hard, save up, buy a house, start a family. For me, for my generation, houses are so expensive that the dream has kind of changed, right? For people my age or younger, the dream is more work hard, party harder, wait for your parents to die, take their house. My dad told me he was going to give up smoking last week, and I was like, maybe don't. Have you tried smoking meth, Dad? The kids are doing that. Get involved. I have one big problem with the house I live in at the moment, right? And that is I have big windows in my bedroom, floor-to-ceiling windows that overlook a street where people can walk. The reason that this is an issue is because I'm used to being able to sleep naked, but now if I get out of bed, it's like, ah! Because people can say, ah! You know, and I don't want to pull the blind down because there's no other windows. It gets claustrophobic. So I've come to a compromise, and ladies and gentlemen, that is what I think life is about. I've started pulling the blind down to here. So that way I can still walk around with my junk fully out. But according to the people in the street, whose junk is that? I even like to play a trick on the perverts. What I do is I get dressed up in fishnets and high heels, and I back up to the window like this, and then I go, pow! It's like my window is a life-size version of Snapchat. There is another great use for Snapchat, and that is you can send vital pieces of information that exist for very short amounts of time. For example, my housemate, he went to the bank recently, left the form that he needed for the bank at home on the table. He rang me from the bank, and he goes, "Hey man, I need the numbers that are on that form. Can you send me a picture of that form?" And I was like, "Yes, friend. Yes, I can do that. Okay, thanks, bye." Hung up the phone. I sent him a Snapchat of that form for 2 seconds. So he opens and goes, "Oh, what the hell?" Calls me back. He's like, "Ha, ha, ha, very funny, you jerk. Can you send me the picture for longer?" And I was like, "Yes, mate. Yes, I can do that. Okay, thanks, bye." Hung up the phone. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the perfect time to then send a dick pic. Because I knew he was going to be right up close to his phone. He thought I was sending it for a short time again, so he screenshotted that bad boy. That sent me a notification. Then I called him like, "Oi, why'd you screenshot my junk shots?" Montreal, you've been absolutely lovely. Take care. Cheers.